we're going to talk about a new product that's a part of our vMixing system. Now, the vMixing system we started developing back in 2005 with the digital snakes. And we have continually improved and added new products and new features to the vMixing system to where we now have 23 different REAC products that are part of the vMixing system. And those include the digital snakes, of course, our lineup of digital consoles, the vMixers, the M-48 personal mixing system, truly regarded as the best personal mixing system that's available anywhere from anyone. And also the R1000, which is a 48-channel hardware-based recorder that allows you to record all of your audio and instantly from a vMixing console play back all of your audio for instant virtual rehearsals and virtual sound checks. So really a powerful system. And at the heart of the vMixing system is our REAC protocol. So REAC allows you to transmit 40 channels in each direction over a single Cat5. In addition to the audio, we also have remote control and data that travels over there, and that allows communication to happen between the products. For example, you can control an M-48 personal mixer from a vMixer, or you can control an R1000's transport controls right from a vMixer, etc. It's a 24-bit protocol at up to 96K. Over Cat5, you can go 330 feet. And it's very easy to convert it to fiber, and you can go up to 1.2 miles, or really, if you use a different mode of fiber, up to 30 or 40 miles of fiber as well. Now, what we can do with the REAC system when it's all integrated is we have the ability to create some really incredible, fully digital integrated network systems. So we have a selection of different digital snakes that we can use, and you can see our merge box technology is there as well. We can of course, send that to our digital consoles, the M480. Any of our consoles can become a broadcast or a monitor mix console, very simply with a Cat5 split. And then we have our M48 personal mixers that can accept up to 40 sources coming from anywhere in the system, and you would group those 40 sources down to 16 stereo groups, making it very easy for a musician to be able to mix their own monitors. And then at the heart of the entire system is the R1000 that can see all of the audio traffic on the system and could choose any of those 48 channels and record those, and again, be able to instantly play those back for virtual rehearsal and virtual sound check. So really, truly a very, very robust system. And when we take a look at some of the users that have adopted different parts of the vMixing system, it really is a who's who of the different industries that we work with. So who's who of broadcast, who's who of the largest houses of worship, a who's who of performance venues and live performances. You can see the artists there in the graphic. Truly being used every day, reliably. People count on it. It really is a fantastic system. And one of the main reasons they chose it, it sounds fantastic. So really a great resume for the vMixing system. So as we look forward into the vMixing system, and Roland as a company, we pay a lot of attention to the market. And we've taken a look at the market and seen where it's progressed from when we introduced the first vMixer, the M400, back in 2007. And it used to be, to get into digital mixing, you would have to invest somewhere around the $10,000 price point to get into truly quality digital mixing. But now technology has progressed, and now what has traditionally been the analog price point, you can now find digital consoles or hybrid analog digital consoles in some cases, but really there's nothing with the sophistication of the vMixer down at this traditional analog price point. The other trend that we've really paid attention to is what has been happening with tablets in live sound. It really is a legitimate application to take a tablet, walk around your venue, adjust mixes, go up on stage, adjust monitor mixes and things like that with musicians. But we've taken a look at the tablet market and the uses of tablets in live sound, and we asked the question, how could we take something and move, how could we develop a vMixer and move deeper with tablet integration, and again, bring all of these vMixing system features down into that traditionally analog price point. So today I'm very proud to introduce to you the result of all of those questions that we have been asking and all of the market listening that we have been doing. And this is the brand new M-200i vMixer from Roland. So the M200i is the perfect marriage and integration of the elegance of touch interface from the iPad, also the mobility of the iPad, combined with the precision and the reliability of hardware. And when you see how we've integrated this, this is beyond anything with just a simple tablet iPad control that you walk around with your venue of just a few levels. This is the deepest level of iPad integration that's ever been put into an audio console. And there's several ways to work with it that I will show you in a moment. So first of all, let's start with the specifications of the console so you get an idea of just how much DSP we've put into the M200i. First of all, it is a 32-channel digital mixer with moving faders. Every single input channel has a 4-band, fully parametric EQ with a compressor and gate on every channel, along with a key-in filter per channel. We have 8 auxiliaries and 4 matrices, and the matrices can accept all of the channels, so it really is 12 mix buses that are part of this. And the outputs of all of your auxes and matrices and your mains have 4-band, fully parametric EQ, dynamic choice between compressor and limiter, and we have delay, so you can delay your audio for under balconies or speaker time alignment, etc. We have 8 DCAs and 4 mute groups that are part of the M200i, 4 stereo effects processors that have all of the great sounding Roland effects that you're used to hearing, as well as some classic vintage Roland effects that are also built in here. We have 4 31-band graphic EQs, and if you need additional graphic EQs, any one of the 4 stereo effects can also become an additional 31-band graphics, so up to 8 31-band graphics available in the M200i. We have 300 scenes and 200 channels. 300 scenes plus 200 channel EQ and dynamics libraries that are part of this, making presets and recall really, really easy. And it's REAC expandable. So this M200i is capable of hosting up to 64 inputs and sending audio out to up to 54 outputs. So very, very powerful. And it's all in a 19-inch rack mount compatible design. So if you'd like to rack mount it, you can see right now it's in a tabletop configuration. Simply take the sides off. You get an RA10U, which is our optional rack mount adapter. That goes right here on the side, and then you can put it in your rack mount cart or your rack mount kit and take that around. Makes it very, very portable. So let's take a look at the interface, and we'll start with the traditional hardware that you're used to seeing. So we have 16 motorized faders on the M200i. We have inputs 1 through 16, inputs 17 through 32. We also have our aux and matrix masters on the next layer, and 8 auxes, and again, 4 matrices, a total of 12 buses that are available there. And then we have our first 4 DCA masters here as well. The next layer, we have 2 separate user layers. And what we can do with the user layer is rearrange the faders in any order that we want. So if I wanted this fader to be my MC, or in the case of a house of worship, the pastor's microphone, I can always have that on fader 1. Then I can take a DCA and group all of my drums onto a DCA fader, take my lead singer, maybe all of my background singers on a DCA, have the reverb return for all of the singers here on the next fader, and keyboards here, etc. And very quickly you can see that you can mix an entire performance off of just one layer when you assign the user layers correctly. Also, additional use of the faders is to do sends on fader, and sends on fader allows us to do monitor and wedge mixes, or really anything that we're sending to the aux right from the fader. So if I go into mixing aux 1, you can see that this now becomes how much of each channel I am sending into that aux 2, aux 3 to get to the matrices. Double click on aux 1 and 2, and that will give me matrix 1. So very fast to be able to do monitor and wedge mixes that way. Moving over to the user button section, again, same concept as with the user faders. I have the ability to assign any one of these buttons to be whatever I want. I have mute groups assigned, for example. I can have scene recalls. I also have tap tempo for my delay effect set right here on button number 8, and I can just tap that in time with the tempo to set my delay. So these buttons can become whatever you want them to be. Then up here, on this section, on the top right-hand side of the console, is full control over every aspect of the console right from this area here. So all of my channel edits, all of my effects, DCAs, mute groups, setup, everything can be done from here. So you are not dependent on a tablet or iPad to be able to use the M200i. If something should happen to your tablet connection, then you do have the ability to make all of those edits right from the console. So you do have that security, and again, reliability and precision of hardware built right in. So really what sets us apart, though, because what I've showed you are some features that we found in hardware on our other consoles, is what we've done with the iPad. It really is an incredible integration of iPad interface along with the hardware control. So these are screens that you're probably used to seeing on tablet controls. It's the very same screen that is found on the M-480 iPad remote that we have now available. And what I can do with the iPad is not only do typical fader movements and things like that, but I can drill into just about every aspect of the console from the iPad. So what I might do here is choose channel kick, for example, and now I get a full channel view channel overview of all the parameters of my channel. And if I follow the audio path here, I can choose any one of my inputs. So I have 40 inputs available from REAC, as well as the local inputs that are built into the console that we'll take a look at in a moment. So any input can be patched to any channel, and any single input can be patched to more than one channel as well. Continuing on, we have gain, frequency, and then our gate, compressor, and EQ controls are also found here. So if I drill deeper and go into the EQ, I simply tap on the EQ and that brings up the EQ screen. And I would simply choose the frequency that I want, and then I can move it around. I can pinch to adjust the Q value right there. So it makes it very easy to be able to adjust this interface. And whichever frequency I choose, it changes this display of knobs here to show me precisely what my Q setting is, exactly what frequency. You can see here I'm on 1.74K, and then what my gain is for that particular frequency as well. So you do get that precise readout right here in the iPad control. So if I move over to the gate and show you the gate, great screens here. If I want to adjust the threshold, I can do that, but I can also change the gate into an expander, or I can do ducking if I use this as well. So ability to change the gate or the compressor, and again, a gate and compressor on every single channel. Now I'm going to move over to the compressor here, and again, ability to move through, grab the threshold. Now, I also have a key-in filter on all of my gates and all of my compressors. So if I want to adjust the frequency of another source channel that is driving the gate on this particular channel that I have assigned, I can just very quickly choose that, and I can also solo that and be able to hear that in my headphones, so I can hear exactly what frequency is being used as a part of the key-in. So very robust, very professional level of DSP that's available in here, and really a very cool interface to be able to adjust that really quickly. Now, here's what we've done different, because all of this is just using the iPad as the interface. But what if we start to integrate the hardware buttons and knobs and switches along with what's here in the iPad? Well, what I can do right away is actually select which channel that I'm operating on by using these select buttons here. So as I move through the select buttons, I'm changing which channel I'm currently working on. I can also use these channel edit parameters here to jump through the different screens. So now I'm on the main channel edit screen for each one of those channels. I can also drill to the compressor, to the sends, to the gate, to the EQ. I can also go into my meter screen. I can go into my mute group screen or my DCA screen. Again, all from the hardware. And one thing that we've overcome has been, how do you get precise control over specific parameters when using the iPad? Sometimes when you're moving around with your finger, on a specific parameter. For example, the gain, I want to get a specific gain setting in terms of dB. How do I do that accurately with my finger? Well, what we've done to overcome that is, you can see as I choose different parameters, the little box shows up around that parameter. So if I move back to the gain here, I can now use this value dial, and this is called touch and turn. So I'm now adjusting the gain for the kick channel, and then I can go over to the frequency and now adjust the frequency, all using the value dial. So you can imagine that if I'm in front of the console, very quickly I'm just jumping around, grabbing different parameters. Again, I can hit the compressor, choose which parameter I want, very fast to be able to manipulate when you combine the hardware and the software. And again, a very unique kind of interface that we're dealing with. Last thing to show you on the channel edits, a couple things are the sends. So you have the ability to manage all of your sends per channel there, as well as what the send point is for that particular channel. You can see here we're in post fader mode. And then I can also adjust the send point for all of my channels to a particular send very quickly here as well. So all channel point send is a feature that's built in. Last thing to show you on the channel edit, I can go in and also do all of my channel naming right from the iPad. So I can quickly type in a new name for that, and I can also color code all of my channels. So if I want to organize and group my channels by color, I have the ability to do that. So that's the channel edit overview. So very, very deep in terms of what we've done. We've basically given you everything in terms of channel editing that you can take with you. I could disconnect this iPad and run it around the venue, for example, very, very easily. All right, let's go back to the overall channel strip view. And you can see that when I'm in a dock position here, I don't necessarily need to have faders here and faders here. It's kind of a redundant display in this case. So what we've done is come up with some new functions. And if I switch the view here, I can now move this to no fader. And when I go into no fader mode, I now have an overview of 8 channels at a time that shows me my compressor, gate, EQ settings, what I'm doing with my sends, etc., solo and mute for groups of 8 channels at a time. So when I'm here in the little dock rest, I have the ability to adjust the faders, and then very quickly, this makes this interface very, very fast. Just choose, for example, the expander on channel 2. Go over to the EQ over here. Very quickly make some adjustments as I need to, and go back to the channel strip. So very, very fast interface to be able to use. And as you've seen, there's multiple ways to be able to choose what you're working on at any one time. So very, very flexible in terms of the interface. Let's take a look at some of the other screens really quickly. We'll go to the meter screen, and here you can see overall view of your meters in addition to the ability to adjust what you're looking at. Right now we're looking at our preamps. We can look at our post-fader levels as well. We can go into the DCA groups, and the DCA groups are extremely easy to set up from the iPad. So here, if I go into my DCA 1, all I have to do to assign channels into the DCA is choose those channels. And then I can go in and name this to be drums. And now I have a drum DCA all set up. So as I adjust this fader, it is going to adjust the overall volume level of all of my drums at one time. So I can also do that with the mute functions, etc. All right, so let's talk about how we connect the iPad to the system. So there's a couple different ways. You can see that what I'm doing right now is I have a dock connector connected directly here. So this gives me a secure and reliable connection that is not dependent on Wi-Fi or Ethernet network or anything like that. It's just the iPad talking directly to the console. This will also charge my iPad at the same time. And of course, Apple has just introduced a new Lightning connector, and we'll have an answer for you on connecting Lightning connector type iPads very, very shortly. But fortunately, there's over 100 million iPads currently out in the world that use the traditional connector. So very easy to find one of those to be able to use with the M-200i. So the dock connector additional feature is that it will allow you to play back audio from your iTunes library and assign those to channels on the vMixer. So transport controls will be built into the interface of the M200 directly, and that will allow you to access, again, your iTunes library and play that without having to leave the M200 application and come back. Now, we do have the ability to connect Wi-Fi as well. So you can connect the console to a Wi-Fi network in addition to the iPad being on a Wi-Fi network using a Roland Connect USB Wi-Fi dongle. And there's a dedicated port for it right on the back of the M200. You simply slide that in, and again, that means your console can connect your Wi-Fi network and your iPad. But you're going to be in some scenarios where there actually is no Wi-Fi network available. So the M200 can use that Wi-Fi dongle to create an ad hoc network. And what that means is that the iPad just connects directly via Wi-Fi to the console, and you don't need any extra networking equipment. It's just a direct wireless connection between the two. Third way is to use the LAN port. So there's a built-in LAN port on the back of the console. So if you want to put that into your existing network infrastructure in your facility and then take the iPad through the Wi-Fi connection that you have in your facility, that's how you would do it for, again, more security and more reliability in terms of your connection. And what we're able to do is connect one iPad via the dock, and then we can also connect a second one via wireless. So these are both currently looking at the same M200. And again, the ability to just grab channels and move around. So 2 iPads can be connected at the same time. You can have an operator using this as his main interface and then somebody else walking around the venue with the second iPad. So very nice and very convenient feature to be able to use. So now let's move on and take a look at what the I/O is for the console. And if we take a look at the back of the console, this is our first vMixer that is actually what we call a drop-in format console. So if you have an existing analog snake in your facility, or you run with analog snakes, or you just want to have this at the side of stage and plug all your sources directly in, we have quite a large complement of I/O on the back of the M200. So starting with the mic pre's, we have 16 high-quality mic pre's, and these are the same mic pre's that are found in our S1608, and also our vMixers share these same high-quality mic pre's. They have a fantastic reputation in the market already. Then many users and systems integrators have told us that they want more line-level inputs at their front-of-house position. They have wireless microphones and line-level sources such as CD players, DVD players, etc., and they don't want to have to bother with extra DI boxes or funky cables or anything like that. So we've just built that extra line-level I/O right into the back of the console. You have 6 TRS balanced and 2 RCAs. So you have a total of 24 local I/O right on the console. And then in addition, to make up to your 32 channels, you also have your USB memory recorder to play back for WAV files. Again, your iPad, and then effects returns. You can use those, again, to make up your 32 channels. However, let's talk about the outputs, and then we'll go on to how you expand the inputs. So we have 12 analog outputs on the back, so you can see that there are 10 assignable outputs that are 6 XLR and 4 TRS balanced, along with your XLR for main, left, and right. Then we also have an AES EBU digital output, so if you want to go to a digital amplifier or you want to go to some other form of digital recorder, you can do that very easily. Now, as we said in the beginning, you can expand the M200 to up to 64 inputs and 54 outputs. And to achieve that, you would use the REAC port that is built right into the back of the console. And with REAC, again, an additional 40 inputs and an additional 40 outputs. So we believe that one of the most common expansions that users are going to want to do is the ability to add some additional mic pre's or some remote I/O. And the 1608 will give you an additional 16 mic pre's that you can connect directly to the M200. And these are the same mic pre's, so everything's going to be matched and sounding the same. And it will also give you an additional 8 outputs. And this is really an expansion of I/O. You can keep this at your front of house if that's where you choose to do it. Or if you really want to get the benefits of using a digital snake, you would run it over Cat5 as close to your sources as possible. And really, if you're in any type of touring or production or portable type of environment, 330 feet of 40 channels of digital snake is this. Really easy to spool a Cat5. Much easier than a 40 by 40 analog snake in terms of carrying it. You don't need a truck to do it. You can simply just throw it right in your truck. So S1608, again, just to review, so you can get a graphic and count the inputs. You have 40 inputs and 20 outputs when you use this configuration, and that gives you a total of 32 mic pre's, and again, they're matched mic pre's, and again, that can be local or remote. One other graphic to show you, if you do want to have all of your outputs remote, you can use our S4000 digital snake. This will give you 56 inputs and 20 outputs with a total of 48 mic preamps. And again, we have digital patch bays built into the M200, so you can choose whether your inputs are coming from the local I/O on the console or from the snake. So it's independence between your mixing channels and your inputs. You can assign any input to any channel. That is not fixed. And by scene recall or patch bay library, you can very quickly reconfigure those in the push of a button. So let's talk about some additional expansions, what you can do with the REAC port. And we have 3 different modes of recording that we can do. The first one is sonar REAC recording. And what you do with sonar REAC recording is take the Cat5 cable directly into the Ethernet port of a PC, and that will allow you to track 40 channels as 24-bit WAV files directly into Cakewalk Sonar. And it is a Cakewalk Sonar producer, and that will allow you to do all of your editing, production, mixdown, and delivery right from Sonar. So you really get the full production package when you use the Sonar REAC recording package. Now, we also have the R1000. The R1000 is our 48-channel digital recorder. It's all hardware, which means more reliable, easier to use for many users because it's just simple transport controls right on the front of the unit. And again, the R1000 could see up to 48 channels of audio traffic on your network and be stopped to instantly play back and give you virtual rehearsal. So what it does is it interrupts your mic pre's and gives you playback channels instead, exactly where those mic pre's normally would have been. So a fantastic tool for rehearsal and for practice, and also for training of new console operators. Great to have the band in that venue, recorded and ready for playback, that somebody can come in on an off night and practice mixing and setups. Third way to record is stereo track to USB key. There's actually quite a high number of users that don't want to do multi-track recording. They simply want a stereo recording of that event. So we can do that very easily without any computer or extra hardware required, stereo recording directly to a USB key, and that is a 24-bit WAV file that you get as a result of the WAV file recording. So again, 3 different types of recording systems that you could choose to use with the M200i. Now, additional expansion, very, very popular, is personal mixing. So our M48s really are the world's best personal mixing system. And you can very easily connect those directly to the M200i and send 40 sources to each one of those personal mixers and sum those down to 16 stereo groups as decided by each individual musician. And that will all be managed from our RCS software. So there is a remote software PC for Mac or PC that will sit at the side of the console, USB directly into the back, and that will give you additional deeper parameters beyond what you could see on the LCD screen that's built in here. Now, what's great about all of these expansion choices is that it isn't a matter of or, it's really and. So we can take Digital Snake, connect that. We can connect the Sonar REAC recording system, or R1000, and we can also connect the M48. So you can leverage all of the benefits of REAC with the M200 as the front end for you as the console. So let's very quickly take a look at the M200i price. So the M200i is a brand new price point. Again, we wanted to bring everything that is vMixer down to what has traditionally been the analog price point. And this will be available in January 2013 for the very low list price of just $34.95. So we're really excited about the value that we're able to offer through the M200i. Now, we will also be making available a package with the 1608 Digital Snake. It's called the M200i EXP for expansion, and this will be a $49.95 list. And again, you get 32 mic pre's when you do this, in addition to being able to go up to 46 inputs. With the console as well on the back. So 2 packages that you could choose to go with for the M200. So to wrap things up for you, 2 fantastic new products from Roland Systems Group for you here today. The M200i 32-channel digital console and the V40 HD 4-channel HDMI RGB component and composite video mixer, fully HDCP compliant, of course, multi-viewer built in. 2 fantastic new affordable products from Roland Systems Group, and both of these, again, available in January 2013. So to end, we're going to leave you with the promotional video for the M200i. On behalf of John Broadhead and everyone at RSG, we would like to thank you for tuning in, and if you have any questions, feel free to contact us immediately. We are ready to take all your questions, your feedback, and your comments. Thank you very much.